Good day, everybody. Matthew from Captive Audience Comics here. We just got a fresh box of books back from CGC, so we're going to go through those with you guys. I don't think there's any books here where people don't want them to be released. We have a couple customers that don't want us to do unboxing of their books, which is perfectly fine. We understand. Sometimes they just want to be surprised when they pick them up, or maybe they're concerned about people might knowing if they have high value books. But this is a book that we got back. It was just a reholder at the JLA Avengers #1 in a 9.8. We had to send that back from the last shipment because it had a crack in the slab, so we got that taken care of. So also I've been dealing with CGC for the past, I don't know, it seems like a couple of months now, just on our combined return shipping for international orders, which for international dealers is a big, it's a big deal being able to combine return shipments, as obviously, shipping from CGC is so expensive. So looks like we finally started that. We've been doing it for years, but I guess they kind of were like, oh, this is a standard practice for us. And I said, I know, that's why we did all this work to, get it set up. But it looks like we're good, and that's going to continue. So here we have a couple copies of, this is Blade the Vampire Hunter #1. This is the first solo Blade series. Okay, it's got the foil cover on the swords in a 9.8, and it's got the hollow chrome logo, which is funny how they say that. But so we have two 9.8 copies of this. Now we're gonna have more copies of this particular book. We were lucky enough to get a small stack of these from a recent collection that we picked up, and they were all in really great shape. So they're all being sent out for grading. Again, that's copy number 2. Cases look good. I have had to send some cases back recently for scuffing on the inside of the cases, like between the inside of the acrylic case and the inner well, and they will fix that, but it is a little bit annoying. This, I think, might be the last Incredible Hulk 340 in a 9.6 with the custom label. This is a customer that had multiple copies of this book, and I think that this might be the last issue. We might have some waiting to come back, but this is the last one to be sent off. So that'll be nice to get all that back to the customer, so that he can close out his submission. He had a bunch of these, and he didn't want us to send them all in one submission. He wanted like 1 cent per submission. Some people say you get better grades that way. I haven't really noticed that, but this book does have, people always wonder, they're like, well, why wasn't it a 9.8? So in this particular one, I'm just going to go visually off of the book without checking the grader's notes, but there is some blunting on the back corner and the top corner. So it probably would be hard to see, but in this top corner, I don't know if it's going to focus, but you see it's not quite 90 degrees. It's a little bit rounded. And the same thing in the back, right down in here. There's a little bit of blunting on that corner. The corner's abraded. And one of the things for 9.8 it does say is you need to have crisp 90-degree corners. So you got to be careful about that. And I feel like even with the increase in them looking at 9.9s and 10s, that they're being more picky about that. Gargoyle #1, first series in a 9.8. This is the embossed, super glossy, by the way, embossed cover. It's hard to get this book in a 9.8 because it would get a lot of scuffs on the raised glossy part. That, by the way, that's one of our books. Now, this is a customer book, I'm pretty sure. Yes, this is Robin, if you're watching, this is yours. So this is the Punisher limited series #1. 9.4 JSA. So Michael Zeke autographed on page 1. I do wish that they would, when there's an interior autograph, that they would photograph the autograph and literally put it on the back, like put the screen capture or whatever of the autograph on the back, which would be nice. What we do for customers when they ask is we'll take a high-res photo of the signature and we will send it to them, and then they can they can print it off on a little 4x6 or something like that when they get it back, and that way they can like mount it next to that if it's a signature that's of particular significance to them. All right. Okay, so Robin was a new customer for us, but I don't think he'd ever even submitted to CGC before. He sort of found his old collection. We helped him go through and pick out some books that we thought were worthwhile to get graded. We looked at what we thought grades would come back as versus potential value. He was looking for obviously value proposition, which makes sense. So we have a Wolverine Limited Series #1 from 1982 in a 9.4. Now, none of these books, I think we previewed the grades. Yeah, nothing in these books came back as a surprise. So they were actually, a couple of them were slightly higher than we expected, but we were more looking at stuff that would give them good value for their fees. So Batman, Dark Knight Returns in a 9.8. Obviously, I mean, this is a book that's got value for the first print all day long, and nice to see that they agreed with us on the grade for that, because we did think that was a 9.8 contender. Tales of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles #1 in a 9.8. Sort of that classic Turtles artwork that all collectors are familiar with. Now, I think 9.8 on this book is generous. It does have spine ticks on it, but the spine ticks don't break color, but they do have paper creases in them. But maybe it's just that most of the books of that type have that issue. This one is, whose book is this? This is also Robin. So this is one that we basically said it was worth grading even in the lower grade. This X-Men 101 at a 4.5. Now, the interesting thing with this book is it has a partially detached cover. So you can see from staple there that it's basically, it's detached here, which normally would be a lower grade, probably I think a 3 actually, 3.5. But because the rest of the book is in better condition, you get a little bit of a higher average on it. So that was nice. Watchmen #1 first print 9.0, and this one I can't remember. We sent it in anyways because it was worth grading. I might have to look up the notes on this one, but I think it had some structural issues, and yeah, it's got like a long color breaking crease, sort of in the T here. Yeah, you can see it there, right? So you got a long, it's more than a spine tick, that color break, and it's got corner blunting and things like that, and I think it's got a scuff in the black on the back as well. That's of course the problem with these black covers. But Simpsons comics, this one I believe is ours. Yes, so we are Simpsons comics #1 in a 9.8. Now this is got pull-out poster flip book, okay? $1.95 edition does not include poster. Now, obviously, this one does. Now, we know that if you send the posters with these books, the CGC throws them out. So what we did is we kept all of the posters, and then when we put these in our Mylar bags for slabs, we'll just put the poster in behind the slab. So the person who buys this will get the poster with it, so you'll get your 9.8 complete with poster. Sonic the Hedgehog number 0, 9.8. Very cool. Very cool book. They were sort of retro 90s. And you may notice in the photos that there is like, I don't know if you'll be able to see it. You probably can't. But the books are a little, I don't know how you want to call it, almost like puffy in the slab. Like parts of the cover are kind of like a little puffed up and whatever. I still firmly believe that is a total, just a humidity issue. Humidity changes between Florida and the encapsulation and everything else. The actual inner wells aren't fully air sealed. There was a Immaculate Comics did a study on that. There is some air seepage, not much, but between all of this, so differential humidity will affect your books. Web of Spider-Man number 118, again 9.8. Again, that's ours. We sent in. This is the first chunk of slabs from that 90s collection that we bought that we're getting back. Now these are cool. So this is the Adventures of Superman number 500 polybagged platinum edition, okay, in a 9.8. Now initially it was funny because I read online they were like, they had listed this as like a color error, like, oh, the black color is missing, and it had like an error variant. Well, obviously it's not an error, it's just the platinum version. We had to do a little bit of digging around that. Superman number 75 polybagged platinum edition, also numbered on the back. I don't know, the numbering is kind of hard to see, but they were also numbered on the back. These were limited to 10,000 copies, I think. This particular copy is 9,400. Let's see here. One more block. Here. All right. So I should have some more mix of client books and our books in here. So, Wolverine Limited Series number 3 in a 9.6. Again, this, in my opinion, is probably slightly overgraded. I would have had it at a 9.4, but that's okay. And again, there's this like raised puffiness from inside, and we are seeing this more with CGC. It'll be interesting. We'll maybe do a comparison in the summertime. I want to see what it's like in the summertime when it goes from when the humidity sort of up here is not as it's not as low as it is now. If you get less of that, you know, as that book is being transported up from Florida. Batman: The Killing Joke, first print in a 9.8. Obviously a great book to have. Let me see, is this one ours or some? Okay, Hellblazer number 1, first John Constantine in his own title, in a 9.6. It's a very cool book. Very cool book. I always like to work on those. Marvel Wolverine number 2 limited series in a 9.8. A cover that's easier to get a 9.8. It's not the, obviously, that black cover. Oh, a very cool book. One of my favorite movies, V for Vendetta, #1 in a 9.8. Cool cover art. And I think this came back slightly better than we expected. I think we had this one at a 9.6. So that's nice. That is a customer's book as well, I'm pretty sure. Yes. Now, a neat book that we hadn't seen before, but for our music fans out there, you've got Prince and the Power Generation. No number. We could call it #1, but it really has no number. In a 9.8. So, you know, music fans, comic fans, that's great. And it's got a very cool Prince art on the back. This sort of weird layered color exposure print on the back. Is very cool book. I don't even know what the price is. It's so niche. That's our book, by the way. We'll have to figure it out. This was kind of cool too. This is a Snow White #1. This reprints the 1937 Sunday newspaper pages. And Marvel did this. This was Marvel's first printing of the classic Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs story. So, you know, so you can see the official adaptation in a 9.8. We ended up with multiple copies of this as well. So we're going to get a few of them graded. And then we might sell some raw. I don't know if I need to have like 10 copies of this book graded. But, you know, we'll see. Who knows? We'll see how well it sells. Sonic the Hedgehog #1 as well in a 9.8. It was cool to get the #0 and the #1 from that series from 93. Obviously, lots of people in our age group, you know, grew up with Sonic the Hedgehog, and it's funny because it's like back in theaters. Well, not theaters, but you know, they're making the new movies now, and everyone's super excited about that. Another great book for me personally. So, Ghost in the Shell #1 in a 9.8, and apparently they're going to be redoing an animated Ghost in the Shell, but truer to the original storyline, because they've done Ghost in the Shell's adaptations, but they've taken some, you know, liberties with the storyline. And then last from this one is another copy of Adventures of Superman 500 Platinum Polybagged Edition. This one in a 9.6. So that's everything from this batch. If you saw books that were yours, you will be notified shortly that we have them. And we'll try to fast track getting these slabs priced up and on our site. We won't wait for like the weekly upload. I'll see if I can't do that today or tomorrow so that these will be available for sale. Okay, have a great day, everybody, and we'll see you on the next one. I have 100 books from that 90s collection currently at CGC, plus there's some other stuff. So there's going to be lots of stuff, hopefully, coming back in the next 1 to 2 months. Have a great day. Ciao.